Hello developers, welcome to Mining Devs. Today we are going to talk about Bitcoin, the hottest technology that there is. You must have heard about it from the news, from the prices going up and down, right? And from your friends, from your family, that something like this exists, or some other cryptocurrency for that matter, right? What exactly is the technology behind it? This is the question of a lot of people that are there, right? And why are the prices so much? What is so valuable in Bitcoin? So what we'll do today is we'll try to go uh, and read about the Bitcoin white paper. We'll try to explain Bitcoin white paper as much as possible and in layman language, so that you as a newcomer can get onboarded and understand what Bitcoin actually is. Now, what is Bitcoin white paper? Bitcoin white paper is just an information document that was launched by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. That white paper contains information on the plan of action of Bitcoin. It suggests each and everything that Bitcoin is built upon. It suggests problems as well as solutions, right? So we'll go towards the introduction part, we'll go towards the network part, we'll go towards the transactions part, and as well as we'll go towards the wallets part, the keys, and all the basic stuff that we need to cover in this white paper series. So stay tuned and let's get started.
Hello all. In the previous video, we studied about privacy and what Satoshi has to say about privacy around Bitcoin. In this video, let's try and understand the calculations part of Bitcoin white paper. In this calculations part, Satoshi has mostly focused on telling you guys what exactly is the possibility that an attack can happen, and what are the different possible ways that an attacker can make use of the chain in itself, right? And if an attack can happen, and he has discussed about the probability surrounding an attack, right? So this first paragraph actually tells everything that we need to know. We consider the scenario of an attacker trying to generate alternate chain faster than the honest chain. Even if this is accomplished, it does not throw the system open to arbitrary changes, such as creating value out of thin air or taking money that never belonged to the attacker. So what Satoshi tries to say here is that even if an attack is to happen, an attacker cannot really create money out of thin air, or take money that never belonged to the attacker, or take a transaction that was not there to the attacker, because the other honest nodes that are there in the system will reject that invalid transaction as a payment, and honest nodes will not accept a block that contains that. So what an attacker can do is, an attacker can only try and change his own transactions uh, to take back the money that he spent, right? So what an attacker can do is, an attacker can, maybe an attacker has a payment to make, right? So he makes a payment to a sender, and then at that particular moment, as soon as he has paid that sender, he can start attacking the network. Now, to successfully attack the network, what needs to be done is, he needs to go in the network, right, and propose blocks to the network that will invalidate the transaction that an attacker has sent. So what he needs to do is, along with invalidating the transaction that is being sent, he has to make sure that he is the one controlling the longest chain, because the longest chain is the one that is accepted in the system. So how can he maintain a chain that would be longest? Because in the while he's attacking the system, what will happen is, new blocks will be generated, new blocks would be added by different nodes, different honest nodes, so they'll be broadcasting their nodes. So what he needs to do is, he needs to catch up, so that to catch up to those blocks that are being added, and create a longest chain after invalidating the transaction that he has sent. Now, this is what an attacker, the motive of an attacker could be, right? So what Satoshi has done is, he has tried to explain this attack in a mathematical form. Like, what could be the probability that an attacker would be able to catch up with the blocks that are being mined by the other honest nodes, right? And try and form the longest chain. In this, he has used some variables, like p is the probability an honest node finds the next block, right? and Q is the probability that the attacker finds the next block. And QZ is the probability that he has referred to the attacker will ever catch up to the Z if he has Z blocks behind. Now, what do these three parameters mean? Now, P is a probability that some other honest node has found the next block and he is ready to enter it in the chain. Q is the probability where the attacker is able to find the next block first. Now, if he's able to, if the probability of that an attacker is able to find the next block first will definitely will mean something, because he is able to broadcast the block faster than the other honest nodes. And QZ is the probability that the attacker will ever catch up if he is Z blocks behind. So if there are 6 blocks behind the blocks behind the block that an attacker has to change a transaction that resides in. So if there are 6 blocks, so there may be 10 blocks that attacker is behind. So he has to mine all those blocks and then stay ahead and form a longest chain, so that his transactions could be invalidated, or his transaction or the money that he spent could be like that he has never spent that money. So something like this an attacker might do, right? So there are some mathematical formulas as to what an attacker might try and do. So, but the probability, however, let me show you guys about what the probability, however, after the calculations that are above, the probability that you can see Z, where Z was the number of blocks, right? So if the number of block is 0, the probability is 1, right? So you can see using those mathematical calculations that Satoshi made, the probability decreases exponentially when the Z increases. So if the attacker is 1 block behind, his probability is already 0.2. That he'll be successful in an attack. If an attacker is 2 blocks behind, his probability is 0.05, which is very less, right? So after 6 blocks are mined, you can see if he's behind 6 blocks, then the probability is very less that he'll be able to change the transaction after 6 blocks. So generally, what we say is in during Bitcoin transactions that 6 blocks confirmation. This is how it came into play. Like after 6 blocks, the probability of an attack or changing that transaction is very limited. It would take a lot of computing power to do this, to change it. Like after 6 blocks, it's mostly irreversible. And these are some of the charts that he has made and solved for the probability around Bitcoin. So the probability is actually less than 0.1% if an attacker wants to attack the network. So this is very low probability if an attacker wishes to attack a chain, right? And it could be only possible for a limited number of blocks, right? So in Bitcoin, this is on the other end, it's highly it will require a lot of computing power. But at the same time, for some new chains that are on proof of work, it would not take that much significant amount of computing power to attack those chains, right? So those chains are still vulnerable. But a chain like Bitcoin, where the transactions are heavy and a lot of transactions are being made, there are a lot of nodes, a lot of miners. So again, a lot of computing power would be essential to make such an attack on Bitcoin. In the next video, we'll try and in next video we'll cover conclusion and and the references part of this whole white paper. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. Please do comment. Please do leave your valuable comments in the comment section. And if you have any doubts, please comment and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And we'll try to clarify it. And as well as if you need some more videos on some different topics that you want to understand, please leave us a comment and we'll try and make all those videos so that you as a newcomer can understand better. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.